they will be ignored. They will absolutely be ignored. And the ones that are real will be the ones that emerge. And I don't think we'll go back to old-fashioned messaging and pushing things because nobody wants that anymore. They don't believe in it.
The reality is that social is about that three-dimensional conversation space. It's about you talking to your audience while your audience is talking to each other and while your audience is talking to people that aren't in your audience. And that's the social space. And so it becomes easier to do that if you have a human voice going into that space because it invariably is being permeated through a bunch of other human voices sharing it.
Good morning. As you can tell from my hat and my funny shoes, I am an authentic dork. But I'm also really thrilled about this next session. It's the new SEO content. And when we look at what's happened in the past couple of years with Google and how dominant it's become in the way that we research and see information, the way it's taken and dictated which social networks are important for indexing content and how to find things, and Google Plus and how that's become dominant in that sense as well. We've seen some seismic shifts, and it's really changed the way we have to create things online and the way we introduce them to social networks. And so to help us introduce that difficult topic, we have Lisa Gerber, who's over here. Lisa is a phenomenal marketer, communicator. She runs a company called Big League Creative in the Pacific Northwest. They actually service brands throughout the country. They're in Maryland. She's also a very strong blogger. She's really about challenging people and brands to take big leaps. With that, please welcome on stage Lisa Gerber.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. And I'm speaking on the same stage as Ariana Huffington. I can say this forever. This is great. Oh, one quick thing. I do have a random surprise at the end of this session. So we are going to be passing around some tickets. If you want to grab a ticket and throw your extra ticket in the bag that will follow, have a little giveaway at the end. This is my baby, Jackson. Jackson has hip and elbow dysplasia. We adopted him when he was 6 weeks old, and we found out when he was 8 months old that he had this. And if you don't know what that is, it means that he's so big and he grew so fast that the bones in his elbows and his hips didn't come together properly. So it's caused a lot of problems for him throughout his life. And he can live a full life, but he has his ups and downs. And things came to a head about a little over a year ago, and he wouldn't lay down. So we would be in the living room at the end of the evening, and he would just stand there, panting, staring at us. And then he would go over in the corner, and he would lay down, and then he would pop back up, and he would just stand there. This caused a lot of stress for us, as you can imagine. So I did what any caring and concerned dog mother would do, and I turned to the internet to find a solution to my problem, right? So I typed in a long tail keyword search. Long tail meaning it's very specific. I wasn't looking for a dog hospital. I'd already been to a lot of vets. I was looking for a way to manage pain for my dog with dysplasia. So that's what I typed in. And this article came up in the first search on the first page. It was exactly what I needed to hear. This guy in Seattle, it's a Seattle Times article. He had a similar problem, not the exact same one, his dog, that is. It wasn't the exact same problem, but it was very similar. And it turns out Washington State University Teaching Hospital was able to help him with this problem. 4 hours away from my home. Only 4 hours away from my home. I couldn't get on the phone fast enough to make an appointment. Get in. We were there the following week. We spent 3 days down there. He had arthroscopic surgery on his elbows. He came out of there a little bit beaten up, but a couple days later, he was back to doing really well. I mean, he's not better, but he has a quality of life, and he's very happy, and things are better in the household. So as you can imagine, we're a little bit happier. So from a content marketing standpoint, what are some lessons that we can learn from that story? I have 3 for you. There are real people with real problems at the other end of our content. And a lot of us forget that because we're focused on the wrong things. We're focused on stuff like, how are we going to get more dogs in for surgery? Have we talked about our x-ray machine? We need to talk about that x-ray machine. We didn't talk about that yet. And they're forgetting about me. I'm at home, I can't sleep because my dog won't lay down. We need to really understand the needs of our audience and what's keeping them up at night and how we can help solve those. Search engines are just getting smarter and smarter. We know this by algorithm updates, the penguin and then panda, and just trying to keep up with it. They're getting smarter, and you know this because it served me results when I typed in my search for a facility that was 4 hours away from me. It could have given me results for Cornell Veterinary Teaching Hospital. But it didn't because it knows where I am. So they're taking into account more things than just keywords, and I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit. So that hospital bill was $4,000. They got $4,000 from that one story. One click, one story, one phone call, $4,000. Also, that story was dated 2003. So it was almost 10 years old. I can imagine how much revenue that's bringing in. They never asked me, so I don't think they're tracking it, but that doesn't matter because now as marketers, we are all in the business of SEO. We've heard a lot about storytelling in the past day or so. And this is how you use these stories to get found online to actually grow a business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But I want to talk a little bit about the future of search because Jeff talked about it a little bit in the introduction, and we're all getting a little bit overwhelmed with all of this stuff that's going on. All of these updates, all of this jockeying for position. I want to try to help simplify it. Because if we understand where the search engine is, what their end game is, it can help inform our strategy a little bit. We don't have to worry so much about these individual updates all the time. Because what's happening is we're seeing a convergence. And the search engines, they want ad revenue, right? In order to get this ad revenue, they need us, users, searchers. In order to get us as searchers, they need to be delivering us more and more relevant content. Whereas before they focused just on keywords, now they're able to do a lot more things, and it's called semantic search. So they're taking a lot more into consideration. Your keyword stuff content no longer works. Now they want to see that it's actually popular with people, that they're liking it, that they're engaging with it, that they're sharing, that there are links back to it. So the earned content, and your social layer and your optimization are all converging into something that's called the new SEO content. Or if you wanted to get really fancy, you just call it marketing. I was going to call this session marketing, but I thought that would be a little bit bland. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First and foremost, telling great stories and what exactly that means. And then how to optimize those stories to get found. And then I'm going to talk just a little bit about social. Hopefully you saw the social panel yesterday, but I'm just going to briefly touch on that today. So what does it mean to tell a good story? We hear this all the time, you have to tell a good story. Well, maybe make paper clips. You know, it's not always easy to tell a good story. You're not always saving dogs' lives or giving them a better quality of life. So let's talk about that a little bit. At no point did the Washington State University Teaching Hospital sell me. They just solved my problem. At no point did someone say, we are a leading provider of X, or we have been in business for 25 years, or we have state-of-the-art facilities. They solved my problem by showing me about this guy with a dog who has a similar problem and he's doing better, now you can. So we're sharing and solving, we're not shilling. This is a quote from Content Marketing Rules. If you haven't read it by Ann Hanley and CC Chapman, it's an excellent resource. If you wouldn't say it in person, don't say it online. We just heard CC Chapman in the video before talking about this. Show some personality. I really love this example. You can't be perfect. Show some personality. Be real and make that emotional connection.